Echo 5, do you copy? Echo 5.
Echo 2, good morning. Nice of you to drop by.
Feeling alright, sir? Thought we lost you.
Right now, I feel like I can take on this whole podcast myself.
I know what you mean. Ready to send that transmission to Echo Base?
Yes, sir. R10, patch through.
Welcome to another episode of the Hoth Transmissions. We're continuing our adventures through the Boba Fett, and we'll be discussing the third episode of the series. We'd like to welcome back Echo 3, and we have another guest joining us, Echo 12.
Hello, hello.
What's up, Hotspot fans? I got my young Padawan with me. My my younger brother.
I'm older than you.
All right, so I guess let's just jump right into it. So, what did you guys think of this third episode? I know it was a little bit slower than the last two, but I feel like some key story development were being introduced.
I actually thought it was pretty solid. I actually really liked the episode. I think there was some high points and there was some low points. There was definitely some low points. I think overall I'd give it I'd probably give this one anywhere from a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. So I thought it was pretty solid enough.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm standing with it. Like a solid 7 for me. Like there's a few parts that I was just kind of like whatever on, but I mean, that's what's going to happen with a lot of these projects. Is not everything's going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
There's going to be parts that there's going to be whatever. It hasn't appealed to other people. But I know this episode was directed by the guy who did Spy Kids, so.
Yes, but as we know, this isn't Rodriguez's first episode. He also did the first episode of the season, and he also did the episode in Mandalorian where Boba Fett comes back for the first time, which is one of the best Mando episodes I've ever seen.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You're talking about the one where Grogu is
Tython.
doing his thing.
Right? Yes, on planet Tython. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't really care for that.
Oh yeah,
I love that episode, but to me that one felt like a fan film.
Yeah,
it's still really good.
I remember saying that. You know what? The setting kind of does. It kind of looks like they shot it in like Utah or something. Maybe they did.
A foreign planet.
Yeah, not a foreign planet.
Yeah, just like a sunny day in California. All right, guys, let's just go out to the desert and find some cool rocks and just shoot around it.
Yeah, for real.
But I was gonna say in terms of like the fight scene choreography, the respect they give Boba Fett, they make his entrance very dramatic, which it should be. I think that episode was really good for those reasons.
Yeah, and I kind of liked some of the choreography that they did in this one with some of the fight scenes.
Yeah.
But I know, oh man, there's a meme I saw earlier today. It's like, it was the scene where Boba Fett is sitting there taking out all the stormtroopers, right? And it's like, all right, this is Boba when he appears in The Mandalorian. And then it jumps to a scene from this episode. This is how Boba fights in his own TV show.
Yeah.
Awesome flair.
I have a comment about that. But actually, first, I've never asked you this. What was your what would you rate this one out of 10?
Well, for it being like the halfway point of the season, because there's going to be 6 episodes. For that being episode 3, I kind of expected there to be more of like, I don't know. I mean, that's like the midpoint of the show, and we are left
7
with,
episodes
like,
actually.
What's there's 7?
Yeah, there's only 4 episodes left.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You thought it was 6?
Yeah, I thought it was 6.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's 4.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I guess expected, somewhere near the halfway point to be a little bit more climactic, but I guess they're still setting things up, and it does seem like they're getting around to more of like who the boss of the bosses is going to be, because we're still kind of navigating his new world, trying to be the leader of this area. So for me, I would say, yeah, like I think I said a 6 the first time I watched it.
6.
Yeah,
that seems about right.
Yeah, because they focus a little bit more on being in the present time now. So not quite as many flashbacks. And so the last 2 episodes was really kind of setting up what I thought that the Tuscans were going to come in and fight against the Huts, and that was going to be like the ending battle of the season. But I'm starting to see that they're putting some more purpose behind Boba's actions.
Yeah.
And it's setting up like who I think is going to be the main villain. It's probably going to be the Pikes.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
of course, the Pikes. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like that this is the first of like the Disney era Star Wars where they're diving back into the kind of like political side that we saw for the first time in the prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite what a lot of people said about the prequels and the whole politics, a lot of people found that boring, but they're really making it less boring. They're making it a little bit more exciting to watch.
Yeah, especially when it's headed by a guy that we've all loved the whole time.
I just wanted to piggyback off what my brother said. I remember I texted you before this episode came out, and I said this is kind of a pivotal episode because the first 2 were heavily involved in flashbacks, and so this episode was kind of gonna dictate where the season goes, where the story goes. But I'm gonna retract that comment. The next episode, if the next episode is not top-notch quality and as beloved as let's say episode 2, fans are gonna really have a problem with it.
Yeah, and what I have to say is, especially to the fans, chill. Still got 3 more episodes.
I agree with that. Here's the thing. Here's like a broader thing about Boba Fett. It's like I would never say this is bad Star Wars. I think this is actually good Star Wars. I actually enjoy the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you enjoy it, right? Like you like it so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually liking the shows more than the movies, to be honest. Only reason is because they can take more time with the stories to develop it. Because that's what I liked about the Clone Wars, Rebels. Not so much Resistance, but they were able to really flesh out stories and kind of take their time with it, not make it feel so rushed.
Yeah, that's true.
And I want to hear, you guys might disagree with this, but from my point of view, I think this is where a lot of fans have trouble with it. I mean, this is where I have trouble with it. I think Mandalorian was, forget about TV shows, I think it's one of the best Star Wars products we've ever gotten. Like one of the best Star Wars products we've ever gotten. And because Boba Fett has the same writer in Favreau, and they're picking from the same pool of directors, I think people expected the same quality. And I don't think personally so far, and it's not over yet, but I don't think so far it's as good as Mandalorian. Honestly, and it doesn't look like it has the same budget on some parts.
No, probably not. And I'm gonna say that it has a different type of quality. Because Mandalorian had focused more on Grogu going from the galaxy trying to find the Jedi to bring him to. This one's kind of taking like a different side of the galaxy that we're not used to seeing. We get to see more in depth of like the politics between crime lords and the deals that go on there. And as the mayor told Boba that running this running a family is a lot harder than bounty hunting.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of getting to see that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they even brushed upon it in this episode with Bib Fortuna. Because we see that there's like different sectors of Mos Espa that was being run by the Aqualash, the Trandoshans, and I think the Plutonians. I think that was the 3rd group. And they're like, well, Fortuna had to make interesting allies and to hold those tributes.
Yeah.
And we're finding out that no one respects Boba Fett.
Yeah. Okay. So agreeing with this, like what you're saying, I find it more interesting that Boba Fett's struggling as a crime lord. Like it would be less interesting if he took Jabba's place and he was just OP. He took over all of Tatooine in a snap of a finger. It's kind of interesting to see him struggle with it.
And I think that's kind of what everybody expected. Everybody expected it. Okay, he took the throne. No, we're just going to see all this crazy stuff that Boba Fett's going to do. And it's actually quite the opposite. It's like, all right. What about you, Bridget? How you liking all that?
I'm really enjoying the show. To go back to the Mando comparison, I think what kind of made that show unique was kind of like the novelty of it, because it was the main character we'd never met. None of us were expecting the Baby Yoda. For the most part, there were planets that we hadn't been to, with the exceptions here or there. And with the lead in Boba Fett being Boba Fett, and the story taking place exclusively on Tatooine, I think we're we have a lot more to go off of in our own heads from what we know in the past. And so I think there's that little bit of, we have, like, at least I know watching it, I do kind of have expectations of how I think Tatooine would operate or how Boba Fett would react to certain situations. Whereas, the Mandalorian on a different planet, I don't know how that planet operates. I don't know how this guy's going to want to handle things. So I think that novelty is kind of what makes a good difference between the two shows. But I am enjoying Boba Fett so far. I mean, I still watch every episode as soon as I can when it comes out, and it's an event in our family to gather around and watch it. And I mean, I watch all the Marvel TV shows, and Marvel is probably the hottest thing right now, but that doesn't happen in my family. I pretty much am the only one that watches those. So I mean, regardless of how live action Star Wars goes, that's something that like it still draws people, and I think that they're doing a good job with that with this episode of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Bridger, say the thing about remember what you told me so far? You think a certain show is better than Boba Fett, which surprised me.
Oh yeah, well, okay. I guess this kind of goes back to the novelty thing. I feel like halfway through Bad Batch, I was more personally like wanting to see what happened than yeah, like invested right now. Than I am halfway through Boba Fett, and I think part of that is because also I'm familiar with Boba Fett and Tatooine, and we are kind of passing the torch around of the mystery. And I didn't really expect this to be kind of like a mystery show, but it really is for trying to figure out who's in charge, who's the bad guys, But yeah, halfway through the Bad Batch, I was kind of more intrigued than I am at this point for Boba Fett, but that could also be tossed up too. I know so much about Boba Fett and Tatooine already.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't know. For Bad Batch, it was kind of a hit or miss for me.
I'm with you there too. I agree with that.
I think there's like 4 episodes that I really liked, and then the rest of them are just kind of like, because like when I was doing some of the podcast with Brecken, it took us like, I want to say like a good 5 months after the Bad Batch finished before we even started taking on doing the recordings again. Like even at the time, and the reason for that was I just couldn't get into Bad Batch. Like it took me a while to get into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But with this show, it's like every new episode, I'm like, all right, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Yeah, I think the live action stuff is definitely pretty special. I do think Bad Batch went on 1 episode too long. I mean, we saw them destroy that big place, and then the last episode was them just trying to leave it.
Yeah,
like that kind of seemed like it could be the start of a second season. So we have a big cliffhanger, but
that
was kind of super anticlimactic.
Should have ended on the climax.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When I covered that in the podcast, I actually agreed with that it should have been a season premiere, but I could see why they used it as an ending. So another thing that was like really interesting, like because it brought like the whole mystery. Like I really thought the Tuskens were going to be more involved, just with the way that's set, because he goes back into the back and has another flashback, and he returns to the camp. And honestly, it looked like Anakin got there before he did.
Yeah. Hey, when that happened, my mom said, "Oh, they got an aerial bomb, like a bomb dropped on them." I was like, "Shit, Mom."
No
bomb, not a bomb, Mom. But
oh my gosh,
I have a couple comments about that. First of all, you know what? It turns out they did a good job of exploring that backstory, because I was kind of emotionally hurt when I saw them all die. I think it actually affected me on an emotional level. And I will also say we haven't seen the end of the Tuskens. We've seen the end of that tribe. But if Boba Fett ends up being involved in a war with the Pikes, you better believe there's going to be some Tuskens involved on Boba Fett's side in the war.
very true on that. I was sad to see that Tusken warrior to be dead.
Oh man, yeah, the whole tribe, that was sad.
Yeah, like I was liking the chick warrior, and then the little kid that was like idolizing Boba.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's like I was like, man, it's such a sad thing to introduce. But I'm like, I can see why they brought it in, because he went straight to the Pikes, and it's like, all right, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think the reason it was emotional for me was because we get those flashbacks of Boba Fett when he was a kid, seeing Jango drive off.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And actually, I never thought about that. Like Django, he's probably always on missions, and Boba Fett's sitting by himself back at Camino. But
Mhm.
but what you get from that is like this Tusken, and of course he was a bounty hunter after he was a kid, and so the Tuskens are the first family, like the first true family he's ever had,
Mhm.
and he
Yeah.
lost them, and we can assume it was pretty quickly.
Yeah,
It's
true.
pretty emotional.
Um, yeah, because it was even more sad when you saw him go and burn all the Tusken bodies. But a cool thing that I want to mention is the chanting that you hear when he returns and in the funeral scene is in the Mandalorian language.
Yeah,
That's real. Like that's a pretty cool detail, honestly.
no, yeah, that's cool. But what is that from the Clone Wars? What language? When did they do the language?
Yeah, so Mandalore is a big part of the Clone Wars and season 3 onwards.
Mhm.
And so they kind of develop more of that. And so it's kind of cool because a lot of people are wondering if Boba's a Mandalorian or not. A lot of people are wondering if Jango was a Mandalorian because they even say it in the Clone Wars when Jango's name is mentioned to one of the Mandalorian senators. Like they basically said that he stole the armor and was disowned or something.
Oh, shit.
But
Shoot.
based off of what it's showing here on the Mandalorian, you can be adopted into the Mandalorian family. You don't.
Yeah, you can be a foundling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't
And
have
so
to-
I think that's what they're suggesting.
That's why. Hey, do you think Boba Fett's a Mandalorian? Because we know Jango Fett's a Mandalorian, and he's a clone of Jango. So is Boba a
Mhm.
Mando, or what do you think?
I'd say he's a Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's what I
I
say.
I think he's earned it.
That's what I say too. I mean, he's a clone of Jango Fett, and he has the armor and stuff. So I mean, pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The family.
Another cool, like, I don't know if you guys noticed, like when Fett returned and he discovered the slaughtered Tusken Raider, um, the whole camp, it kind of was kind of a callback to when Luke returns to the farm to see his aunt and uncle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what my mom said.
Yeah, my mom said that too, and I told her that was a nice call, Mom.
Yeah. It's cool that even, I mean, like my mom's not, well, yeah, I guess she's kind of like the epitome of a casual fan. So I like that that was like a good connection that everybody could make.
She's a little step above a casual.
Yeah.
Little step above. She's the one that got us into Star Wars.
Yeah.
She as soon as we were of age, she showed us the original trilogy.
Yeah. But yeah, it is a really cool callback.
Yeah.
And I mean, it does definitely like evoke the same type of emotions, even though we've known Boba for a little bit longer. But
I was just thinking about this because you brought up the when Luke goes back to his aunt and uncle, Burn. First of all, I just thought of it. That's one of the most violent things you see in Star Wars. They're literal skeletons on fire, and you just saw his
Yeah, that's true.
a few scenes ago. And this comes to a little problem I have with this show. When Boba Fett wakes up from, or when he's woken up from his dream sequence, he gets tossed around by Chrysanthemum. He gets punched by Brass Knuckles. I think he gets hit in the face a couple times, and I
He
don't
even
need.
gets bit.
Yeah. Oh, and he gets bit. I don't need Boba Fett to be gushing blood out of his eyes and spewing all over the place, but he needs a bruise. He needs a bruise somewhere. Okay, he needs to be affected in some way.
I mean, that's what the Bacta tank is for, bro.
No, but right when he came down, remember when they
he came down in his robe.
yeah, he comes down in his
Straight from
robe.
there, and he was just
Oh yeah.
all PG.
Face is completely clear, like nothing ever happened to him. Also, he comes down so casual. He's not like disoriented or anything.
Well, his
From getting punched in the fucking face.
Boba Fett, yeah, by a badass Wookiee, but
He just comes down. He's like, "Oh, what's going on down here?" I don't know. It's kind of fun.
That guy got beat up worse than me. Take him to the Bacta tank.
yeah, for
Yeah.
real, yeah. And it's funny that it's. I mean, I don't think that he has multiple like intakes for his mouth, so now he's gonna have to share that tube with a Gamorrean, which is probably pretty gross.
Oh, dude, I know. That is actually pretty good. I'm sure they sanitize it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Somehow.
a cool thing
But I
about
want
that
to jump
fight.
back to that scene.
Yeah.
So it's really cool because we see there's this group of, I want to say, like runaway teenagers that Boba brings into his group.
The
And
spy.
so it's kind of cool to see them come in. And we're talking about like fighting earlier, like how all the choreographs and everything was done with it. And I actually kind of like the whole fight scene here.
Hmm. Yeah.
A little too steampunk with some of the gadgets and stuff, but I still kind of like the
Yeah.
fight scene.
Remember what you said about the feel of Star Wars? How fans can just feel it, Brecken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just talk about this fight scene real quick though. I'll get to that in a sec. But apparently, there's probably some huge fans of Chrysanthemum from the comics and the books and stuff. But a lot of people said that the fight wasn't violent enough, and then that Chrysanthemum wasn't powerful enough. I watched that scene, and I completely disagree. He was tossing bodies around like rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, it took everybody.
And
Go ahead.
I was gonna say because other people were, I've heard similar comments. People were like, "Why didn't he just kill Boba in his sleep? It would have been so easy." But if you did read the books and the comics and stuff like that, you see that they work together at one point. And so I feel it's more kind of out of respect that it's like, all right, waking you up, get out here and fight me.
Yeah.
I'll give you a chance before.
Oh yeah, I like that. He's a
And
gladiator.
so that's kind of how I saw it.
He's a gladiator. He probably has some
Sense of
respect.
honor.
Yeah, so, there we go. Sense of honor with the way that he fights, But yeah, I don't think he was like not powerful enough. He was tossing bodies around. Like what?
Oh yeah. And I mean, I think Boba stabbed him, and
One of the spy kids stabbed him. I can't remember.
yeah, it's one of the Spy Kids. I think that's their new name now, Spy Kids.
Yeah. The Spy Kid gang.
But yeah,
That
because
is
like Boba was like sitting there throwing punches, and Chrysanthemum didn't seem like he was really phased by it. And then he picks up Boba and just starts to bear hug him and squeeze the life out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much?
Yeah, geez, I was intimidated by Chrysanthemum. I mean, it took
Yeah.
like 7-10 people to bring him down or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
He seemed pretty formidable.
Yeah. I like that they had to be a Wookiee too. I know he's a character but I mean, they could have easily put some sort of other creature there. But with our knowledge already of how, I mean, Chewbacca's scary as heck, and he's like very nice and mild mannered, but we see when he goes off the rails. So you can only imagine how like a trained killer, pissed off Wookiee would be,
And he looks bad. They did a great job with his costume.
He looks
so cool.
Yeah, he does.
Dude, seriously.
They did an awesome job with him, bro.
Yeah, that would have been an awesome toy to have as a kid.
Like he only stared Boba Fett down in the second episode, and I was already intimidated by him.
Yeah.
He didn't even do anything. He didn't even do anything.
Yeah, when he does that little growl and the eyes, it's the eyes too. They do a good job
Mhm.
with it somehow. He looks cool.
Just all the coloring, everything that they did with it is pretty good. And I do have to say that they are doing really good with like a lot of the costuming and a lot of the set productions.
Yeah.
And a lot of good callbacks with Easter eggs and stuff. I've noticed that a lot more with the Book of Boba than I have with Mandalorian. So
Mhm.
many Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, dude. Every single episode. That's why I still think it's good Star Wars, because you can tell that there still is a lot of passion and a lot of thought and respect that goes into it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know the girl that runs the starport on Tatooine when Mando gets there, and she has those little.
Oh yeah, Polymeadow or Polymeadow?
Yeah, she's behind the skulls on the pikes that we can see. She's back.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because she has her pit droids with her.
Yeah, she's in the episode, so that was a cool time to like what Brecken said, kind of give a time frame from when all that was happening.
And then obviously, just another quick Easter egg: the spider that we see at the start. Obviously, that's in the background of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
When
they animated it in a lower frame rate, so it looks like stop motion-y too.
Yeah. Hey, can I bring something up about the Chrysanthemum fight real quick? Just before I forget.
Yeah, let me throw one more thing in. Since you're throwing some Easter eggs, because I thought it was pretty funny. That we even get some of the on-set Easter eggs for like some of the. If you used to be on the set of the original trilogy, they used to call, what is it? They used to for random bits of technology GAC.
Oh. Yeah.
And so Boba uses that in this episode. He tells the biker gang, he's like, "All right, gather up your GAC gang, let's go."
Yeah, he has like 4 different slang terms in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Skull Hole's another one.
There's another one, yeah.
What is he? Dank?
Dank, yeah.
Yeah. That's like their F word pretty much.
Yeah, no, he's like, yeah, you're good at talking.
Oh yeah, they took that from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I think that's where I first heard that.
Yeah, I watched a little compilation of all the times it's been used, and I was like, oh, I guess I didn't really pick up on that until somebody pointed it out. But yeah, that's like even small world building that has always been huge in Star Wars. Just like little continuity stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What other Easter eggs? I didn't really notice a whole bunch. What else did you get?
As we get into a little bit more of the later scenes, especially with the Rancor and the chase scene, I'll throw in some cool things.
Oh, okay, for sure.
But I know the Nico biker gang. They revealed the names of them to be called Canton Striders. I know I discussed it last week with our other co-host. That it was kind of referencing because on the back of their jackets they have a Kintan on there, and it's first see that in the Dejarik holograph chess pieces from A New Hope.
I didn't catch that. That's cool.
Yeah, me neither.
Because in the last episode, the Nico's jackets and swoop bike spore symbol shaped like a skeleton of a Kintan Strider carrying a club, and so they revealed them to actually be called the Kintan Striders.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that is sick.
Yeah, a lot of cool things like that in here, and them jumping back to the Rancor pit. Chrysanthemum gets trapped. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, to go back, he was standing on the exact perfect spot, and everyone was like, "Okay, wait, we all know," because they're. I mean, that's just part of fighting on your territory. You know exactly how to set up things.
Yeah, and especially in Jabba's palace, he did that to Luke Skywalker, obviously.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's kind of cool because like Chrysanthemum's just like sitting there holding like the death grip, and I think that's where he got stabbed, like right through the hand. And when you see him down in the actual pit, he doesn't even take the knife out. It's just still chilling in there.
Yeah, oh, dang, that's a G move. Right there.
Also, I thought kind of cool about the Chrysanthemum fight was when they tumbled down the staircase. I thought it was nice to see a little bit of perspective of where things are in the palace. So
yeah, true.
That's right next to kind of the main lobby area. You go up the stairs. That's where Boba Fett is back to tank is.
Kind of like how we see a little bit in Battlefront with the Jabba Palace.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see like a live action with just like more movement around it.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Something else really quick about this is first of all, how the I mean, this question has been asked, but how did Chrysanthemum get in to how did he get so close to Boba Fett? I mean, he has Gamorrean guards, he has the spy kids, he has Finnick.
Yeah.
How's this guy getting everybody to sleep, I guess? Even the Gamorrean guards who are supposed to be guards?
He's a bounty hunter.
Yeah, he's very skilled.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Now, okay.
It is funny to picture a Wookiee trying to be all stealthy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially as giant as he is.
But just real quick, so when Boba's getting tossed around, first the spy kids come in. Or is it Gamorreans or spy kids first? I think it's
Gamorreans were last.
Okay, so spy kids come in. Then after a while, Gamorreans come up. You notice Finnick never goes up. Finnick never goes.
She's in that fight.
No, she's in the fight. She's down the staircase waiting in the lobby area, but she never goes up to try and save Boba Fett.
I could have swore I saw that she was up there.
Oh, I mean, I'm almost certain she was never up there. She was in the lobby area. I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain.
I'll have to take a look at that again, but maybe she's just enjoying the trappings. Couldn't be bothered to go up there.
But anyway, but if she wasn't up there, I mean, that's a little sus. A little bit sus. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Which is interesting because I thought that because she's kind of robotic now because of Boba Fett. She has like a loyalty to him.
Yeah.
And if she turns heel, that's going to be a huge plot twist.
But Bridge, don't you think that's sus though? Like the whole commotion, the whole fight's going on up there, and she's just like, "Oh, I'll wait to see if it comes down here. I'll wait in the lobby."
Yeah.
Like, well, what?
Maybe she was giving the spy kids a chance to
prove themselves.
Prove themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe, but you don't want to give Chrysanthemum a chance.
But then she also knows. She's like, okay, Boba's skilled. She's like, he'll be all right.
Yeah. Harder warriors have tried.
I mean, I still love Finnick. I believe that she's good, but I just think maybe let's keep a little side eye on her, see what she's up to.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little Google, see what people are saying about that.
I will give. So I'm like a huge Marvel buff. I love that. I love all of those so much. The credit I want to give the fight with Chrysanthemum is that they didn't make him like look weak just to show how strong the other characters were, and that's something that bothers me about the MCU with how they treat the Hulk. Hulk gets beat by basically they always want to show how strong other people are by them beating the Hulk, but then that just makes the Hulk look weak because he loses to Thor in the Gladiator fight, he loses to the Hulkbuster, and then he loses to Thanos. But I mean, Chris Hansen was kicking butt. They really only beat him because they trapped him below. No one actually took him out, and I thought that was a good thing to show like how powerful this guy actually is, and especially because it took four, five, six people to get him down there. You know. So I hope that gets a payoff later where we get to see him like really just bashing skulls, because that'd be awesome.
I think he's going to come back on Boba Fett's side if Boba Fett gets involved with the Pike War.
Yeah,
I think he's going to come back.
like the portal scene from Avengers. Everybody just
no.
pop
Well,
up.
yeah, kind of. I mean,
Yeah, he's got the Tuskens. He's
going to have Tusken. He's going to have a spot. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Did you find anything for the for Finnick?
Oh, I'm watching that scene right now, real quick. So you guys keep talking.
Yeah, let me know. I'm surprised. I mean, I'll be interested to know. I don't think she's up there. But yeah, that's the thing, because as we were saying, she has kind of a life debt to Boba. Boba saved her life, and also I forgot that she had the robot stomach. They haven't showed that yet in this season.
No, but I did watch this Easter egg video on YouTube when the guy is telling Boba about the biker gang. He says like they've enhanced themselves with cybernetics, like basically like being prejudiced to them. And she, because she knows her character, the actor like kind of like snarls.
Oh, really?
That's back.
Oh, that's good.
She's like, I have electronics.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know how offensive he's actually being.
That's just good acting.
Yeah.
But then you also have to question is like, is she completely? She was a super powerful bounty hunter herself.
Yeah.
Is she complacent being number 2 to Boba? I mean, or would she rather be in a position of power herself?
I think
Oh,
she's in a good spot.
I
Also,
think she is too. She disagrees with a lot of the stuff he's doing, though.
have you played KOTOR, Mark?
Dude, we've had so many discussions about this.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, Mark.
Okay.
Mark's a super fan.
Heck yeah. Okay, cool. So at
But
least
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, at least I mean I feel like if the life debt is the same as the way Zelbar felt towards I mean spoilers I guess, but Revan, I mean even when he goes to the dark side, he ends up on his side and then he gets pissed off.
Mark thinks that the Jedi Academy games are 10 times better than KOTOR, and he thinks KOTOR sucks.
That's harsh words.
I never said it like that.
Yeah,
I said they were better, but I didn't say KOTOR sucks, because I still love KOTOR.
I guess different. I think the life debt, I think she's probably happy because I mean a life debt's a pretty serious thing.
Yeah.
And so you were right, because I just rewatched the scene real quick. So a couple theories. One, maybe a little sus. We should keep an eye on her.
Mm-hmm.
2, maybe where she stays is a completely different part of the palace, and she didn't get there until just that last bit.
All right, it's a fair theory.
Because she came in rushing, and she went straight for the trap door.
Oh, okay. So when you see her, she's running. She's not chilling, right? She's not just sitting.
No. She's rushing into the room.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Like she was in a different part, and just like, okay, what's all this noise? Let me come check it out.
Yeah, still a little sus though that everybody else got there except for Finnick. Little sus.
Maybe because the Gamorreans I feel are probably close by, but I feel like the main gang is sticking close to Boba.
Yeah. Hey, from now on, they should keep the Gamorreans at the front door of the upper staircase instead of where
Boba's room instead.
Yeah, keep them in Boba's room instead of wherever they're at.
Yeah, and very interesting. And we do see most of the time, like whenever Boba is making decisions, we see that Fennec is always questioning it.
Oh yeah, she disagrees with a lot of stuff.
Because like even when they're sitting down at the table eating the food, and she's like, "We need to send a message."
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel like she'd make a better Daima than Boba.
Daimyo. I think
Daimyo, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's another complaint. I mean, people just don't think Boba Fett is like badass enough, they say.
I want them to just remind everybody why he's the favorite bounty hunter of the galaxy.
Well, I agree with that. And here's the thing. Because this is Favreau's project, and I'm sure I think Filoni's actually directing one of the episodes. If I had to bet...
Episode 5, I think.
Yeah. If I had to bet $1,000 that by the time this whole series is over, we're back on board and we think Boba Fett's awesome and stuff, I would bet $1,000
Yeah.
for that. I mean, I definitely believe in the creators for this. They're gonna make it. They're gonna wrap it up in a good way.
Yeah, because I feel like Boba's just holding back. I don't think it's because he's not badass like we've seen him in other projects.
Mhm.
I just think he's holding back.
Yeah. And he's been changed by the Sarlacc pit and his time with the Tuskens. Obviously, that's changed him.
And his time with Mando and Grogu.
Yeah. Also, we haven't
Uh,
seen the Slave One yet. I want to see that at some point.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like we will. Or
Yeah.
maybe he just gave it to Mando since the Razor Crest blew up.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy, and that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
But then again, at the end of season 2 of Mando, we see Boba's taken off, and then the special credit scene shows him on the throne. So he
Hmm.
might still have his ship.
Yeah. You know what I'd love to see, which obviously they won't do, but this is a 7 episode series. They do episode 8 and just do a flashback to Empire Strikes Back era, between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and just show Boba Fett on a bounty hunt.
Yeah.
Just show him doing what he does best, and put Daniel Logan in the suit, not Tamara Morrison, because Daniel Logan I think is more of the body type of. He's like 32, so he'll be more of the body type.
Young Boba.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also that'd be a great way to, pay him. He is Boba Fett,
Yeah.
just as much as Tamara Morrison.
Yeah.
So put him in the suit and just show Boba Fett on a freaking bounty hunt. How badass would that be?
That actually pretty sick. Because I did like the game with Bounty Hunter with Django. Because you just go around hunting people. But I mean, I had a little bit more of a point to the game than that. But
Well, yeah, but I mean,
as
also,
doing missions, you can like scan people and it's like, oh, okay, this guy has a bounty on him, and you can just go and capture him.
yeah, and just like I want to see Boba in his prime, pretty much is what that
Yeah.
would be. Boba in his prime.
I mean, right now, the show is set up to where Boba needs to go take care of one person in charge, so he is kind of getting back more to his area of comfort.
All right. Well, if you guys want to see like more of that type of, you guys need to watch Clone Wars. Boba Fett's big in that series.
He is? Boba?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's got quite a bit of episodes.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
sure.
because it kind of fleshes out his, because you feel like he's like this feared bounty hunter, but he has his own code, and you kind of learn how he gets a lot of his ideologies and kind of how he maintains his moralism through the Clone Wars.
Okay.
Because he actually, I think he captures Mace Windu, and there's several times where he's trying to kill him. And
Revenge.
yeah, and so Boba actually ends up getting captured and imprisoned. And then there's another character called Hondo who knew Django, knows Boba, comes down, has like a life lesson. It's like, oh, it's like you shouldn't be seeking revenge. This isn't what your father would want, blah blah. And you kind of see him kind of turn into more of a good guy versus what you'd imagine what a bounty hunter would be.
Yeah, just a ruthless, heartless killer.
Mm-hmm. But there's tons of story development of Boba Fett just through the Clone Wars,
That's awesome.
and a lot of that plays into his character in the show right now. I believe
Does Logan voice him?
he does. Yeah,
That's sick. That's good.
I know. I was actually texting Daniel the other day because I wanted to bring him on as a guest, and he's like, he messaged me back, and he's like, I don't know if I can. He's like, I gotta check with Lucasfilm first.
Ooh.
And before, when I reached out to him, before Bad Batch even started, he's like, yeah, I'll jump on. But just because we weren't very consistent with the podcast, we never scheduled something. But
Hey.
now that I can.
Also, something else that might be in play here. He had a Instagram post the other day. Somebody was saying, "Hey, I kind of want to see Daniel Logan as Boba Fett. He's the Boba Fett that I know, whatever." And I'm kind of losing, interest in the show. And then he responds back and he says, "Daniel Logan." He says, "Just be patient. You never know who might show up in the show." So that could either be a cameo from maybe Han Solo's been rumored, or maybe he comes back as a young Boba Fett. How cool would that be?
Yeah, that'd be cool to see him growing up.
That'd actually be really cool because that would make sense because he said that he has to check in with Lucasfilm to see if he's allowed to do interviews.
Yes.
So I feel like he has a contract with them. I was actually thinking there's gonna be more of a Boba Fett on Bad Batch next season. I figured that's what his contract would have been, and why he has to check in.
Yeah.
But I never actually thought anything about the live action show.
Well, here's the thing: if we're doing a flashback every episode, why not do a flashback to? Let's do a different era, just for one episode. Let's see Boba back in the prime.
Yeah.
Back in his prime or something. That's just something I'm really hoping for.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, and I'm sure they can make it work to fit the main storyline, which I'd be really excited to see.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I know, right? I want to see where this is all leading. I want to see what this is leading towards.
I think it's gonna be a big battle with the Pikes, but I mean, I thought it was after seeing episode 2, I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be a Hutt war, and then they just come right up to the palace gates and they bring a little gift for him, and it's like, oh, so just let you guys know, we're actually headed back to Nalhada. We're done here, and we suggest you do the same because
they say Hatia or something.
Nalhada is actually the Hutt homeworld.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They probably say it in Huttese differently, but
okay.
But it's translated to Nalhada.
Oh, okay.
That's what the main, I guess, galaxy citizen knows it the planet as.
Hey, didn't they do a great job with the Hutts? They look great.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, fantastic. And I was gonna say the same thing about the Rancor.
Yeah.
Oh man, so much cool things with that Rancor.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, we gotta get into that. I just want to say that the Hutts I think is the best they've ever looked since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
They look pretty lifelike. And also, hey, here's another Easter egg. This isn't my own Easter egg. I saw this from somewhere else, but the font that they use for the Hutts is the same font in A New Hope.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, no, for just
the
font
subtitles, right?
Yeah, for subtitles for like alien languages or
Greedo or anything.
Yeah, Greedo. Yeah, it's the same font. Yeah, so Easter egg.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yes.
So, what do you guys think of seeing this Rancor?
I thought here's another. People had a problem with the Rancor thing too. They're saying, oh, they're even Disneyfying Rancors. They're not these crazy monsters and stuff. I like what they did.
Then these people need to read the comics. They need to read the books. They need to play the video games more. Especially because that's another thing. Because like when they mentioned writing Rancors, like not many people that I guess haven't seen Clone Wars probably wouldn't have really understood it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're first mentioned, I think, back with the Witches of Dathomir.
Which is mentioned in this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so because the Rancor Keeper mentions it, Danny Trejo mentions that they were used in Mansa by the Witches of Dathomir, and they first appeared together in the what was it? The Courtship of Princess Leia. It was one of the Legends novels.
Yeah.
And the Witches of Dathomir would go on to be featured in various story arcs in Clone Wars, blah blah blah. But it's not the first time that we actually see them, right? I think in Knights of the Republic we see them being domesticated. Even in what is it? The Force Unleashed, we see Rancors But I like just like with the Tusken Raiders, I like how they humanize the Rancors.
Hey, and I was even gonna say, if you've never played the video games or never read any of the comics, even go back to the original trilogy in Return of the Jedi. When that Rancor dies, the freaking the tamer of the Rancor.
Oh, that's right.
He's on the ground crying, bawling.
He's crestfallen.
I mean, you can make an inference that there's a really strong connection between the Rancor and his master. I mean, even back in the original trilogy. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, because they build that bond, and because Danny Trejo even mentions it, or his character, the Rancor Keeper, because they imprint on the first human it sees.
Yeah, which I think is cool.
And yeah, that's actually a tie back to Jurassic Park.
Oh, really?
How?
Much like what the scientists mentioned of the dinosaurs. If you remember Hammond, he attended every birth just so he could be imprinted by all of them.
Oh, wow.
And so that was kind of another movie reference Easter egg.
That's awesome.
And then, let's see, especially with the Rancor, because you even see the Boba Fett's like intrigue. He's like, okay. He's like, well, I want to start trading. I want to learn how to mount it. And he's like, he's ridden beast 10 times the size of a Rancor. And that's another little Easter egg taken from the story of the Faithful Wookiee from the holiday special.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
You see him riding this giant brontosaurus-looking creature.
Have you ever seen that version?
No,
You ever?
no.
Yeah, it's kind of it's corny, but it's
Yeah.
kind of, it's good fun. You should watch it.
I highly recommend watching it. It's a
Okay.
train wreck, but it's intriguing because that's the funny thing is like going back to the whole Wookiee thing. It's like you get introduced to Chewbacca, who's kind of like a beast by himself. Then you get Krrsantan, who's like this extremely intimidating person just by looking at you, and then you get the Wookiees from the holiday special.
Yeah.
So if he's gonna ride it in the future episodes, imagine what he's gonna have to fight with that thing.
Yeah, I know, because now we know he's gonna ride it.
Yeah. So what's the combatant gonna look like?
Yeah, dude, it's be sick.
That's gonna be super sick.
Hey, so there we go with Daniel Logan. He's on the Rancor, flashing back to these other creatures he's ridden. It'll be
Oop.
Daniel just riding.
Yeah,
There you go.
that'd be cool.
Lucasfilms, take notes for the show you've already finished.
But future stuff that you guys plan.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be super cool.
I'm interested to know your guys' thoughts of the most divisive part of this episode. Not only the Spy Kids as a whole, but the Spy Kids chase scene.
Yeah, the slow chase.
I don't mind the Spy Kids. I really don't. But I just think they need to be developed a little bit more because most of them didn't even have any lines. They're just there, just kind of like just to fight.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that we're gonna get these characters fleshed out because they kind of reminded me of the Knights of Ren. Like Knights of Ren were mentioned, no dialogue, nothing really cool except for like a little fight scene, and that was it. Then you never hear about them again.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do die right there, but up until that point.
Well, I don't think we've seen the end of them. I think they're going to be in future episodes.
No, I think they'll be on there again.
Yeah.
What was it from the Masters of Terracasi, another video game? One of the chicks looks very similar to one of the characters in it.
The redheaded girl?
Mm-hmm.
The main girl? Yeah.
What was it? Because in the game, it's this Sith character, and she's got a robotic arm on her left arm, just like this character does. Same red hair. Very, very similar style.
Yeah, I can
I'm
see
trying to
them
think
both.
of the name of the character.
Yeah, they do a good job of like honoring all the stuff that came before, which is something that was missing from the sequels.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what I was saying. Is like I like the TV shows because they can kind of flesh out stories a little bit more.
What do you think of the chase scene though? Echo 2.
So I didn't care for it. I know there's people that didn't mind it or they actually enjoyed it. But for me, I felt like they're just on a bunch of Espas going 5 miles an hour, chasing
Well,
the
they are.
Major Domo,
Yeah.
who I
Hey.
think is a goofy character in himself too.
The most Espa Vespas.
Mas Espa Vespas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the design just didn't feel like they fit. But I mean, they do look like they're off-worlders. They look like they're a bunch of rich kids that ran away from their parents and ended up on Tatooine because it's where you go to disappear.
Yeah. I would have liked them if they looked a little bit weathered. Like, it looks like every time they stopped to refuel or something, they like completely polished them down because they were bright red, bright blue, you know?
That's true.
They just
Yeah.
missed kind of that like more kind of hardened feel, you know?
Well, yeah. Okay, so here's my problem. I'll just say real quick. I actually didn't mind the chasing. I think it made sense. I mean, not only are they in tight quarters in Mos Espa, but it's a bunch of kids on
Solo.
it. Which one? Which chase?
The very first one at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Oh
He's
yeah.
going like because he's going like speeding through a city.
Yeah.
And even does like that little trick to get through that narrow space.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Han Solo is a little bit more skilled.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a mayor, and it's these kids on a Vespa, and also I mean that had a Hollywood budget. I mean, this is one episode of a TV show. I don't think it had the same budget.
Oh yeah, true.
But I just want to say real quick, my big problem, it wasn't even with the characters, it was the bikes, dude. And obviously they didn't.
Yeah.
Obviously they did it on purpose. They weren't trying to hide it. For some reason, the director wanted to have the bright bikes, But the problem is they might fit it on a Coruscant, but in Tatooine with 2 suns, with the whole planet filled with dirt and sand, are those colors so clean and neon and pristine? That doesn't make any sense.
I think I agree with you guys on that one, 100%.
It bugs me, bro. I mean, on Tatooine, you're telling me that there's no marks or scuffs on the. Are you gonna pull up a picture?
I found something that said they're like a homage to something else.
And dude, even if they are off-roaders, if they're on Tatooine for a day, their bikes aren't going to be that nice. I mean, I don't know. I don't really like it. It just looks so out of place. That's the problem. It's just so jarring, and they obviously did that on purpose, but it doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like Spy Kids.
Yeah, I mean, we did get some cool things out of it, and so I mean, that's what I guess cool about it. Going so slow is you can kind of see some of the stuff around it. Like, there's a Ralph McQuarrie art piece that they go through.
Yeah, of Jabba.
Yeah, Luke was actually originally in that photo, but they edited it to make it look just like just Jabba.
Oh, nice. But yeah, but I mean, as far as the chase scene goes, I wasn't the chase scene. It was just the damn color of the bikes. It bugged me.
I think that's what bugged me.
Yeah.
Because the Spy Kids, whatever, like, I'm really not bothered by their characters at all.
Yeah.
It's I think it's the bikes just make it look so out of place for a Tatooine scene.
Dude, exactly. I mean, that's it. That's the problem.
You also get to see like some droids throughout it. I don't know if you guys noticed some of the background characters. There's a protocol droid, an R2 unit pulling a cart. There's a pit droid.
Oh yeah.
There's some mass droids and a ES-PSA rickshaw droid, which was first shown in the special editions of the original trilogy.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's that silver droid that drops a piece and then hits that little flying robot.
We're good. I'll say.
Yeah, I just don't know what they're called, but these bikes, it says that they're supposed to be directly inspired by the modern rockers of London in the 60s who rode similarly colorful and souped up bikes. And then there's a picture of it on this Easter egg video. And they do look really similar, but it just seems like such a bizarre thing to pull from if that was the intention, because it's like very, very different for sure. But yeah, they do have the same cybernetics that we see in the prequels sometimes. The eye.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Remember this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
On that guy has the same one from the Phantom Menace right at the start from the Trade Federation.
Also, how come they have
that's
money
right.
why do they have money for Vespas for droid parts, but they have no money for water on Tatooine?
I think it's that they have enough money for water, but he just charges so much. They'd just rather steal it.
Ah.
I mean, they look just like a rebellious group of teenagers, rich kids that just ran away. So.
And even Boba's like 1,300. No, here's 500.
Oh yeah, I thought that was cool too.
Yeah, Boba agreed with them.
Yeah, because the guy thought that Boba was going to side with him, and he's like, no. Because he was even trying to manipulate Boba when he had his little meeting. He's like, oh yeah, the streets are chaos, blah, blah, blah.
I'm offended.
So Boba decides to go out and take a look at it for himself. And then he's like, whoa. It's not the chaos of people stealing, it's the chaos because they're charging way too much.
Yeah, upselling everything. He is making a lot of enemies, though, really quickly. But also, I mean, he is making friends, but it is seeming like it's gearing up to a massive cast for whatever the big set piece at the end is going to be, you know?
And dare we say he's not showing much backbone. Boba Fett isn't showing much backbone.
How?
I mean, every time Finnick wants to, send a message, do something drastic, or she's quick on the trigger like she was when she was trying to get in the mayor's office.
Yeah.
Boba Fett's always like, cool down. Nah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
He's very respectful. Very respectful.
Rule with respect.
Not by fear.
But but as much as there's problems with the Spy Kids, I'm surprised that some fans are so just dramatically opposed to it. They're saying, "Oh, I'm not going to watch the show anymore. That was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen." Like, I don't think it was that bad. It was bad.
No, it really wasn't that bad. It was definitely worth it. I mentioned like, yeah, I didn't care for it, but
yeah,
it's not going to make me stop watching the show.
Yeah, it was bad, but it wasn't like, show ending. It wasn't terrible, terrible, terrible.
Yeah, for people that are gonna stop watching something just based off of one scene, I mean, do what you got to do.
I
You
want
miss
there
out
to
on a lot of cool stuff, but take a chill, bro.
Yeah, dude.
if they're that no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. They'll
That's what I've
at the end of
noticed.
the day, they're fans.
Well, that's true, but like when it's done right, like Mandalorian is just so good that like not a bunch of people had so many problems with it.
I will say there's no filler so far. Everything has been important. And there were some episodes in Mando where the overall plot wasn't getting advanced.
Yeah. But you go back and when you watch the TIE fighter scenes and chase scenes in Mandalorian, some of the CGI work and stuff, it was really good. Now the train chase in episode 2 matches that with Boba Fett, but it's just odd
Yeah.
how it's just odd how in episode 3, while the chase isn't, obviously different, but it just seems like it just wasn't as good. Like there wasn't a big budget behind it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because I was kind of expecting him to. I mean, you see Mando do it. Mando just flips on that jetpack and just goes.
Yeah, he's out.
Just goes. And this one,
Oh,
Boba's
yeah.
just like, oh, nah, these guys can do it. And again, I think he's just holding back and he's kind of letting his squad kind of do what he's basically hiring them to do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I still like this show. I think it's fair to say it's not as good as Mandalorian so far. Obviously, we haven't seen the whole series, so we can't really judge. But I definitely don't think it's as strong as 3 episodes of the Mandalorian. I don't think it's quite that good.
No, it's a different story they're trying to tell. And so I'm trying not to compare it to Mando and saying, oh yeah, Mandalorian's better or this is better, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to hold it as its own thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a different story. It's not trying to be Mandalorian and it's trying to tell us something different that we haven't really seen. And it's the crime side.
That's a good point because we kind of got a Boba Fett show with the Mandalorian. Everything you'd want to see in a Boba Fett show, you get with the Mandalorian, pretty much.
Yeah, true.
And so they have to go in a different direction. They don't want to just do a carbon copy of Mando.
Yeah, and Boba's done being a bounty hunter, so this is this new.
Yeah, I mean you get the gunslinging bounty hunter in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So they want to go a different new direction.
Mm-hmm. And it's only one season, so.
Is that confirmed? There's not a second season? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just a one season spinoff.
Okay, well then, I'm gonna be honest though. I mean, if it's one season and they want to keep all Star Wars fans, like together on this, every episode from here on out needs to be of the quality of episode 2. I think it's fair to say episode 2 is way better than 1 and 3. I think episodes 4 through 7 have to be that good or better than every episode from here on.
Yeah, they're pretty done with the setup at this point. There's not too much left to set up. We've had all our exposition.
Yeah.
At this point, the domino should start falling pretty quick.
They need quality. They need another quality that they did in that train chase sequence. I mean, that was.
I think we'll have an episode with just the Rancor.
Hell yeah!
I think we might have a short filler episode. Not really a filler, but just kind of him bonding with him, getting that whole training sequence.
Yeah, him gearing up.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that that's something that the Disney Plus shows for Marvel have struggled with too. Like they box themselves into this certain number of episodes when it seems like they wrote the story and then they decided how many episodes they need, but the story could have been shot very more condensed. Like maybe in Hawkeye, I think it was 1 episode too long. I think there was at least 40 minutes of stuff you could have cropped out to make the show a little bit more spiffy. But what are you gonna say?
Oh no! Also, because it's 7 episodes, I mean, it should all be pretty condensed now. I mean, they got to get everything. They get a lot of stuff.
Well, Hawkeye was 6 episodes, and it's still
really
Hawkeye
was only 6.
Yeah, Hawkeye was 6 episodes, and there was still 40 minutes and stuff in there that I was like, yeah, you could have cut this out.
Oh wow!
But I mean, they are trying to build the world the same way,
Can we pause?
Yeah, because if you look at it, because Boba shows up in Mando, then he gets his own spinoff show, and they're trying to do. Then you got the Ahsoka show that's coming out, and so they're trying to create their own kind of Marvel world building by using everything else to kind of build off each other.
Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, by the Ahsoka show, do we know what time period that's going to be set yet?
It's sometime after Mando.
Sometime after Mando. Yeah, and then I mean, by that point, I mean Boba will be hopefully inserted as the whole like hopefully he'll be fully integrated as the crime boss, and Mando will be off on his own, not having to worry about the kid, and I think it'll be good.
Yeah, because they're doing all this world building, and so I know they're gonna do that with was it they're gonna do like a blah blah blah. Can't even think of it. Kind of like an Avengers thing.
That would be
With,
so cool.
Ooh.
But that was back before
That'd be
Cara Dune got knocked off the show. I think the project that they're gonna do with that is like the Pilots of the Republic or something. I
Yeah,
can't think of it. But I know it's canceled, so it doesn't really matter anyways.
yeah, maybe they'll find some way to adapt it.
I think they will.
Yeah, they do a good job about. I mean, especially COVID really proved how adaptable everyone was as far as like the film industry. Because the new Spider-Man
Yeah,
was
very true.
totally different before COVID.
Yeah, because I
Um,
think they did like a lot of pausing on a lot of the movies and just kind of focused more on this
yeah,
the
exactly.
TV shows. So
Man,
I don't even know when the next movie's coming out.
I really wish that
Which I think is okay, by the way.
what?
Um, they obviously rushed the sequel trilogy. I mean, take their time with the TV shows and make a Star Wars movie when it's right. Like,
Yeah.
don't do it for any other purpose.
Yeah. You know
Yeah,
how
because I'm
cool-
doing this because I say the same thing. Like one of my favorite book series finally had a TV show. Amazon took over. It was The Wheel of Time, and I was like, please don't do movies. Please don't do movies because they wanted to do movies at one point,
Yeah.
and then they just started discussing a TV show to go something along the lines of the Game of Thrones or whatever. And so they've been talking about it for a while, and then they finally decided, yep, we're doing a TV show. And I watched the TV show, and I'm like, thank goodness that they're pretty much taking their time. They're cutting a lot of unnecessary stuff in the books into it, but
Yeah.
it's so well written and so well done, and they're using a lot of resources to kind of build that world. And I think Disney's kind of doing the same thing with the TV shows for Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's say, because we're getting like 5. Can't remember the exact number, about 5 TV shows just this year. Let's say that there's a narrative line that's drawn from Mandalorian to Boba Fett to Ahsoka. Kenobi would be before, so that wouldn't quite be this right time. And or maybe there's stuff that's also in
And
that.
Andor and Kenobi, I think, would be the two that wouldn't tie into the same with Bad Batch.
Yeah, but let's say anyway. Let's say there's a narrative line that's drawn there, and then it's enough to where they have a cool, they can make a movie off it. Then I'm all for that. And put Jon Favreau as director, please, please, please.
Imagine how cool it would be if the sequels hadn't existed and
Dude,
we like.
wait. Some people love the sequels.
I'm not like trying to. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that like, imagine if we didn't
The sequel
know where
sucked.
the story. No, imagine if we didn't know where the story went, because we already know what happens after Boba becomes the crime lord, because we've already seen the 3 movies. Imagine how cool it would be to see Mando, Baby Yoda, Boba, and Ahsoka all pop up in the actual sequel trilogy.
There's some slight hope, and I need Mark's help here because he's
kind of like what they did with Daredevil.
Have you ever seen Daredevil? I've never seen
Yeah,
Daredevil.
yeah, exactly. So like we
Have you seen that?
no, but I know. I mean, I already know what happened.
You know the reference I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, they're bringing it back over. They're bringing all the characters back from that shows into like the main.
Yeah, because the Daredevil actor, he was pulled into the movies. He was in the Spider-Man movie, the recent one.
Yeah, and then
So
Fisk was in Hawkeye, and he even said Vincent D'Onofrio, I don't know, but he said, yeah, they told me to play the same character. Like they pretty much confirmed that it was continuity in canon, which is awesome.
And they said it wasn't at one point too.
Yeah, now that he's going back and forth on it, but I mean, from the latest thing you said.
Well, I just want to say real quick, there's some hope, and Mark has to help me because he's seen Rebels. We've never seen Rebels, but apparently they established some kind of thing where there's different futures or something.
Yes.
How's that work, Mark?
Okay, so what's it called? I forget what it's called, but basically it's how there's a fight with Ahsoka and Vader, and this is how she was kind of saved and brought into this timeline. It's basically they call it the world between worlds.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of you can go in there and you can look at different parts of time. And it was really interesting because you have this character Ezra who is in there, and he's he sees Ahsoka and he grabs her and pulls her through. And he saw some other things that he was going to do, but he had to practice restraint, but he pulls her through. And it's kind of a way that you can kind of change history.
Yeah, see, I've seen videos where they say it's a way that they could potentially, I don't know if Disney would ever do it, but they could retcon the sequel trilogy and make a new sequel trilogy.
Man.
Which,
I mean, they could do that. I think it'd be kind of lame, but they're even saying that that's how Palpatine was able to be so strategic with a lot of the moves with the Empire and building up, is because he had access to it. But the way that it's described in Rebels, that no one's ever found it or whatever, and Ezra's like the only person to use it, and then it gets, I think the entrance gets destroyed after he leaves. So I don't think it's something that they're ever going to use again. I think it was just something that they wanted to kind of establish there and then move away from it. Man, you guys really got to watch Clone Wars and Rebels, because a lot of what happens at the end of Rebels is basically Ahsoka's mission and what she's doing. Because she mentioned the character Grand Admiral Thrawn in Mando. And so I have a big feeling that Ahsoka is going to be, her main focus is finding him, because that's where Ezra is.
yeah.
So I don't think their story will be brought in with Mando and Boba.
What's held you back from watching Clone Wars, Bridge?
I'll watch it with you if you want. You weren't that stoked about Bad Batch. You were like, I just like the live action. I just like the live
No,
action.
I was gonna watch Bad Batch regardless. That's not true. But
No, you were gonna watch it.
Oh.
But remember, after we watched Bad Batch, you're like, yeah, I think I just like the live action stuff better.
No. But I'm just like, honestly, I'm just wondering, like, what? How come you haven't seen Clone Wars yet?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because I don't really know why I haven't.
I think I just haven't ever prioritized it.
It seems like it's a lot of. It just seems like it's a lot of episodes to tackle, right? It seems like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it kind of feels like if you had never heard of the MCU, now there's all those TV shows out and all the movies. It's a lot of homework, you know?
Yeah.
True, but I was, believe it or not, I used to not be a prequel fan.
Oh yeah.
I used to dislike Anakin very much. I used to thought he was a terrible character.
Clone Wars enhances it. The prequels for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the difference is me and Bridget have always loved the prequels. We never had a problem with them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean,
my mom would be on your side, Mark. My mom would find lots of problems with them, but that's what me and Bridget grew up with, and so we've always loved them.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hate them. I didn't dislike them as much as a lot of other people did, but for me at the time, it was like, okay, we got the prequels and the originals.
Mhm.
And so I had spent so much time with the originals. I was excited when the prequels came out. But how they were executed was kind of a little off for me. It's like, okay, yeah, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. And then jump into Attack of the Clones. This is cool, this is cool, this is cool. Lightsabers over a whole arena full of Jedi. Like there's definitely like tons of excitement and stuff like that. But then once you go back to it, you're like, okay, maybe they should have done this different, or this didn't reach my expectation. I was never a prequel hater.
Yeah. I mean, even
once
now.
I started hearing about how bad of an actor Hayden was for that role, then it was like that glass shattering effect. Once it's like pointed out to you, it's like, okay, and then you start criticizing more.
Yeah, and there are some questionable things, even though I'm a prequel, like a heavy prequel supporter. Like the fact that Anakin built C-3PO, the fact that I know a lot of people had a problem that
I never had a problem with him building 3PO.
Oh yeah. Oh, you did it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either, but that's a problem some people have a problem with. And then also people had a problem that Boba Fett was not just a bounty hunter, but the base for the clone troopers, which eventually become stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Some people have a problem with that.
I thought that was kind of cool. I think because a lot of people back during the original trilogy, you see Boba Fett, and people are like, "Oh, I want to see more of him. I want to see more of him." This is kind of Lucas's way of saying, "Okay, you want more Boba Fett? Let me introduce you to Jango Fett."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to see some of that cool moves, and it's like, oh, okay. So we gotta jump into the whole Clone Wars, which Obi-Wan mentions to Luke. So we kind of get to see all of that unfold.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, I thought it was a really cool tie on.
Oh, I certainly do. Okay, because and here's the thing, we said this already, I think in another podcast. I'll just say it like real quick, because we never got original trilogy and then prequels, because we were at the right age that we got it all at the same time, like as one story. So because we were so young, we just accepted it. We never questioned it. It was Star Wars. Like it was just
Yeah.
Star Wars,
Yeah.
plain and simple. We got the whole thing together. We didn't get one or the other first.
But like when you watch the prequels, you can sit there and say this is Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay, Mark. Now
It
we're
feels
talking.
like Star Wars.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Tarkin.
Now we're talking. We're all talking.
I think it was a mix of Mark and
Talking.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Fair enough. But I mean, and let me jump back real quick because I was saying that Hayden was a terrible actor. I was just saying the way that he portrayed the character for me, like it was a lot of bad acting. But I've seen him in other stuff, and he's actually a really good actor, and he did get a lot of hate. But if you jump into like a lot of the production, like behind the scenes, and especially with how George was so adamant on how things should be done, he didn't really give too much creativity to the actors on how they could portray the characters.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where we see like a lot of like the bad acting from pretty much a lot of the characters.
But just to go back to your point real quick, you say the prequels feel like Star Wars. That's a problem people have nowadays. It just doesn't feel like Star Wars. But I think the reason is because you can't beat George. You know, George Lucas, he had every creative right to the prequels. So
Well, once they started pulling Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, I feel like the TV shows are feeling like Star Wars.
of course,
And even parts of the sequels felt like Star Wars, but
parts.
we'll get into another huge discussion on that later.
Yeah.
In another podcast. But
Yeah, we strayed way away from episode 3 of Boba Fett, didn't we?
I think we pretty much covered everything on episode 3 of Boba Fett.
Oh, okay, for sure.
However, do you think that we'll jump back to the episode. Do you think the Pikes are going to be the final villain, or do you think they're going to do like another switcheroo?
It could be the crime syndicate from Rogue One behind it all.
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn from Solo.
That would be a huge out of left field move.
Mark, by the way, I just watched Solo. You know, you like Solo. I just watched it 2 days ago. My sister.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I think the Pikes are set up to be the villain. I don't know if they will switch it.
Yeah, because they developed them in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're more like just mercenary work. Like whoever is going to pay them, they'll be happy with. I don't think they have a real dog in the fight. I guess I would be surprised if they turn out to be the big bad. I think we haven't met the big bad yet.
What if it is Fennec? Maybe she's the one that's playing all the strings.
Hey, we got to keep an eye on her.
Fennec?
But yeah, hey, I think the Pikes. I think when Boba in that flashback where Boba goes and he's talking to him about the bite game, I think the Pikes told the bite gang the exact thing they told Boba Fett, and so they probably knew the bite gang was going to wipe out. They knew one of them was going to wipe out the other.
Yeah.
Pikes.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it should be the Pikes because like throughout the Clone Wars we see the Pikes are like this big dominating threat. Like you don't mess with the Pikes. Then you jump into the Bad Batch and they're like, okay, you don't want to start a war with the Pikes.
Yeah.
But the Pikes didn't want to start a war with Roland's family. So, and then in this, they're kind of not as intimidating as I'm used to seeing them. Even in Solo, the Pike Syndicate was like Crimson Dawn didn't want to mess with the Pike Syndicate.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody above and messing with the Pikes so that all the crap flows downhill. I don't know. I feel like there has to be some big, like I don't know. The very first episode of Mando, we got the child, and then we got Luke on the last episode. I feel like there has to be like there hasn't been the big swing yet.
Yeah.
Right now, it's still okay. We're on Tatooine. This is Star Wars. This is Boba. Like to me, in my bones, I guess I'm anticipating some big swing, you know.
Okay, I would never say I dislike it so far. I obviously wouldn't say I hate it, and I would say that I like it so far.
Yeah.
But it just feels the slightest bit underwhelming. Like there's a little bit of an underwhelming feeling about it.
Yeah,
but
and I think we'll pick up.
We're only 3 episodes in.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some big reveals and some big dominoes are going to start to fall for sure.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, the Hutts are leaving because of the Pikes.
Yeah.
The Pikes were promised this territory, so we're out here. You should do the same.
Yeah. That's true.
Hey, Mark.
What's up?
Or Echo 2. How do you feel about this? So we got the sequel trilogy, which a lot of that, especially episode 7, takes place on Jakku, which is a Tatooine clone. We get Jeddah in Rogue One, which is yet another kind of Tatooine clone. Whatever the sand planet, I think it was called Jeddah, the sand planet in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Large parts of Mandalorian were on Tatooine. Boba Fett's out on Tatooine. Obi-Wan Kenobi series, we can assume a lot of that is going to be on Tatooine. How do you feel about so much Tatooine going on in current Star Wars?
I mean, a lot of people have a lot of complaints with the sequels and stuff that they're introducing too many new planets and we're not really going back to planets that we're familiar with and really being able to like explore them. And I really find it fascinating with how they're able to tell such a story, 7 episodes, just on Tatooine, just Mos Espa and I think a little bit of Mos Eisley we see in there.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually pretty cool because now I'm kind of looking forward to Kenobi if it's just Tatooine. Then I can tell that they can tell a good story without having to move too much.
That's true. I feel like at this point, it feels like 80% of the planets in Star Wars are made of sand. I'd like
I think
to.
I did a post on that.
Yeah, dude, I'd like to see a variety. Like, I really appreciate in one of those episodes of Mandalorian, I think it was seventh episode of season 2, they do a jungle planet, and I don't recall seeing a jungle planet.
Yeah.
Before, as Felucia might be considered a jungle planet, but I just appreciate new planet ideas.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because they've mentioned like I would like to see more of Corellia. I'd like to see more of Alderaan, and maybe even some live action planets that we see in the Clone Wars. Because there's a lot of different planets that are introduced there that have some great scenery, but we don't really get to see it in live action, just because it's just easy just to film around sand.
Maybe we'll see something different happen to Tatooine because they keep going. We've heard the story of how the ocean's dried twice already.
Maybe the water comes back.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
and well, that's what I was going to say was, I mean, if it depends on what is assumed canon at this point, but if I remember correctly from what I was watching the other day, Tatooine turned into a desert planet because of climate change after it got carpet bombed.
Yeah, which
So we
was
could see some sort of reverse or something.
Yeah, because that was introduced in Knights of the Republic too. Or was it the first one? No, it was the first one.
Yeah, when you go
If
there
you
to
go,
fight Freight Dragon.
Yeah, so if you go to the light side, then you get to go inside the Tusken camp and talk to their leader and actually discuss all of that there, how the planet used to be lush and green until all the off-worlders came with all their ships and burned away pretty much all the oceans and turned everything into a desert.
That'd be super cool if we get to see something different happen to Tatooine.
I mean, because Mustafar used to be a lush green planet too. And then if you watch Vader Immortal or you play it on the Oculus, you can kind of see why it turned into the planet it is. And if you jump into Rise of Skywalker, you see one of the first scenes is them on Mustafar with Kylo going through like this little forest, and that's
Is that Mustafar?
Oh dang,
That's
I didn't know
Mustafar,
that.
I didn't know that was Mustafar.
it's a tie-in from Vader Immortal because there's this immortality thing that's drawing all the energy from the planet in order to resurrect basically a lost loved one. And so Vader goes there to find it, and you end up destroying it. And so then it puts all the energy back into the planet. The planet begins to heal.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And so that happened back when Vader was alive, because you go inside his castle, and that's where you go against him. And let me tell you that you want to talk about intimidating. Try putting on an Oculus headset and standing next to Vader while he's trying to kill you.
Yeah, that sounds horrifying.
Then also pissing him off by destroying the thing that he thinks is going to bring back Padme.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Because that's basically, that kind of really pushes Vader to what he's actually, his goal is to try and bring Padme back. and a search for immortality, because that's kind of what Palpatine promised him in the beginning.
Yeah. Save others, but not himself. But then Palpatine has returned.
Somehow.
Somehow.
All right, guys. So please be sure to like and comment. It helps people find us better when there's more activity, and share with your friends. Be sure to check out the links in the description where you can find our Discord, where you can chat with other fans like yourselves and discuss the mysteries of the Star Wars universe. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram, where we continue to post updates and news. And if you're looking for some new shirts that shows your love of Star Wars, then we have you covered. We have some designs that we worked on and know you guys will love. So check out our Teespring link below. So Echo 2 out.
Echo 3 out.
Echo 12 out.
May the Force
Be with you.